Is online. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we're online, everyone. Welcome to the future viewers too. Today, it's the first day of August, and I have here a nice big dark mode friendly canvas. And my plan is to plan out what I'm going to draw this month. And I have some ideas. So I had some ideas, and then I closed the tab. So let me open that back up. Interesting. Hey Diego, welcome back. So let's see, ideas. Now the problem is I can hardly write with this tablet. So this, this is going to make me look kind of bad. But I'm thinking some circus map assets. Let's just think of this as an exercise for me to learn how to use this tablet better. And then we'll just brute force a decent circle. Yep. Get it. This is what you came here for, everyone. Give me give up on the circle. Okay, I have a list off screen of map ideas. I don't think I'm going to need this list, honestly. Let's just put some of the winners over here. We got circus map assets. I'm also thinking mangrove battle map. Yeah, I gave up on the circle. We'll just do this underline, and that'll do. Mangroves? Well, that's an interesting idea, but I think we'll do a mangrove instead. And then I want to start on big dungeon. Looks like dig dungeon. Start on, because I think the dungeon I want to build is going to be multi-part. Like several 44 by 32 maps joined at the edges. Any other contenders? I'm pretty set on these. Let's just do like a list of minor backup ideas. I want to do like a collection of little islands. I'm imagining for like seafaring campaigns, if you're just exploring the open ocean with your party sailing ship, little islands with different encounters on them would be plenty of fun. Marketplace, that's a good contender for like a remaster, because I have a marketplace battle map, but you can always use more than one marketplace, can't you? Well, let's just do popular remaster, because there's a few maps I'd like to remaster, and I think the marketplace is among them. What's on my list? Oh, like an overgrown cave. Well, I kind of just did a cave. We'll let that one rest. Kind of just did a city street, but I have so few city streets that I could do another one of those for sure. could do another colossal creature. Those are always fun. Ships. Yeah, I also feel like I just did a ship. Been a few months actually, but especially I'm thinking beetles. Colossal beetles. Like rhino beetles. Have you seen a rhino beetle up close? They're handsome, handsome creatures. I'd love to do some beetles that are like the size of a rhinoceros, like a rhino beetle that's an actual rhinoceros size. I'm thinking no stealing, okay? I'm thinking circus map assets, but the circus kind of workhorses, they're draft horses for traveling around. Big beetles. Oh, that's sweet, Diego. Yeah. Herculean beetles too. I want to do like a nice variety of little beetles. Maybe we'll do like interchangeable heads so you can personalize them. Heads or horns or something. Maybe we'll just break them up into little pieces and you can kind of put them together like dolls. Yeah, I'm thinking circus that is drawn by a wagon train of beetles. And the beetles are kind of in the same style as the rest of our colossal creatures, so you can start putting together like a collection of like a certain biological style, I guess. These are our contenders, right? I think of these big three, the mangrove battle map is the most boring. So this one we might swap out for beetles. That's exactly what I'm thinking of, Chris. Yeah, you're right. But basically the Bugs Life Circus, but you know, medium-sized. Maybe a bunch of gnomes or something. Yeah, I think often I get these ideas in my head and I think they're completely original. Usually they're just like an old memory at the back of my subconscious that's filtered through. Well, I think all creative ideas is basically that. Looking down my list, there's some kind of boring but incredibly useful ones. So let me put fortifications for kingdoms and warfare. And I'd love to do this, but I want to get permission first. Hey Pierre, thanks for stopping by. It's nice to see familiar faces. Where was I on my list? There's always a spaceship. I keep saying I'm going to dip my toes in sci-fi. And I want to do another spaceship like our Hound class transport ship. Very FTL, right? But maybe even a asset pack to build your own. I'm thinking I definitely want a spaceship asset pack for building simple kind of FTL ships, which are just a bunch of square rooms. And then maybe a separate asset pack for the exterior. Exterior also including what's outside the rooms on the battle map, so like hull and just decorative pieces. Spaceship ruins, yeah. I think I should probably do a working spaceship before I do ruins. But I'm going to add that onto my list that I have in the background. Crashed spaceship? Hmm. Another one kind of... Maybe I'm giving all my good ideas away. But I want to do... I feel like doing something serene and peaceful, you know? A koi pond do well. Also, well, you know what would do well as a remastered asset pack is just furniture pack. But also, specifically, broken furniture have been requested. Drawing war machines. What sort of war machines? Just any specific war machines, like Warhammer war machines? Yeah. And also in the realm of Kingdom of Warfare fortifications, strongholds and followers strongholds. These ones I don't really need permission for, right? Because I'm just drawing castles and stuff. Nothing specifically from the book. And in the realm of strongholds, I think like a plus-sized wagon. Maybe I tried this with my original carts and wagons pack, but I have this idea of a wagon pack, which, like the spaceship asset pack, basically a bunch of building blocks for you to customize your own fancy wagon. Maybe we'll even break down this circus pack into circus tent and stuff, wagon and beetles. That could be interesting. Ah, okay. So you're drawing war machines for like a war game? Sounds fun. Also, it's kind of a weak idea, but we're at the bottom of our list now. Token frames. Maybe this will be something for David and Hammer the Shark to get on. Hmm. Okay, well, those are the extra fun ideas that I've seen in my list. So now that I've listed them all out, I'm feeling like the mangrove idea is especially weak. Let's just whisk that over here. I'm thinking even Big Dungeon. Big Dungeon, I know, is going to be popular because we can never have enough dungeons. I could draw dungeons and just dungeons for months, and yeah, everyone will be happy. But I do like the idea of month of circus stuff. Hmm. That's better. Legendary creatures, yeah. So with tokens, like everything up to huge size, or everything up to gigantic size, basically David Wilson and Hammer the Shark take care of those. And that lets me focus on maps. But for colossal size stuff, which blur the edges between token and terrain, that's stuff that I'm doing. So I just got done with that crab from last month. He's a colossal creature. And I want to make a bit of a series of them because we've also got a tortoise and a turtle. So whole bunch of colossal creatures sounds fun. Just got to space them out. Yeah, Tom, that's I heard that from someone else a few days ago, and that's what's put me on this circus idea. I think it is a good idea. Mhm. Yeah, see, with the Mangrove Battle Map too, is that I have some decent Mangrove battle maps already. So it's not a map that we need. It was just a battle map that I thought I kind of felt like drawing because I wanted to play around with some wriggly, funky tree roots. Yeah, yeah, Diego, you've reminded me. I do want to do colossal dragons and a I'm gonna spell this wrong. One of those, a Tarrasque, needs to happen at some point. I've got one of those derpy perp, but it's a small one. If we're talking like dragon turtle sized island with a town on the back, that does sound fun. In fact, town? Been a while since I drew a town. Tarrasque. You know, I knew that. I don't know why. I just spell it with an E by out of habit. Just pretend that was correct. Yeah, so let's go with the circus idea. Maybe I'll change my mind before tomorrow when I actually sit down to draw this stuff. But I'm thinking circus map assets. Circus wagon assets. Maybe I'll call this something else because it won't just be for the circus. Custom wagon assets. I like that. Custom. The idea being this can be like a stronghold or a player base. I always love the idea of the party having their own wagon and like decking it out. Or maybe like a wagon train so that everyone gets their own room. Good night, Pierre. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, this is correct. At least in one language, so that's good enough for me. Big dungeon. Hmm. I suppose we can push Beatles back to next month. I think I want to do that because this will be part one. The sooner I start on Big Dungeon part one, the sooner we'll have a complete Big Dungeon, you know? Sorry, you're right. You're right. I just assumed that when it's daytime in Australia, it's nighttime everywhere else. Not the case. Tim, that sounds like a token team thing, but let's do a token requests section. And because I think if we're going to do circus stuff, we're definitely going to need to get the token artists on board. So, uh, seal. Yeah, I quite like that, Tom. I kind of had a dungeon theme in mind already, but that's kind of tempting. Diego, I've got quite a few volcano battle maps, but if you're talking about an island that's like region map scale, I don't have a volcano island like that. I'll put Thieves Guild. That's an option. it might be a good warm-up, because I'm also thinking before I start my mega dungeon, maybe I should do just a regular dungeon to figure out the style that I want to utilize. Yeah, Diego, if you just plug volcano into the search bar on my website, you'll find them all because I use that tag very frequently. Hmm. Oh, I'll show you one of the variants that Rudy sent me yesterday. I think you'd like this one. Very fiery. I mean, if your players plan on venturing into the volcano itself, maybe this battle map would do. I imagine this is kind of a plane of fire kind of battle map. Good stuff. This being an edit of the Crab Rock, which we would have seen plenty of last month. Ah, perfect. I'm just going to save this too before I forget. Yeah, I like it, Tim. That's another map that I've got something like it already. So I'm kind of prioritizing stuff which I haven't got anything like it yet. Which so that kind of slots into here, the popular remaster section. Yeah, so I'm kind of on the clock here. I want to get this planning done in the next half an hour because I still got to publish something to Patreon today. And I have a huge amount of emails to catch up on. If anyone sent me an email recently, my apologies that it's taken me so long to get to them. Anyway, so yeah, I'm thinking this maybe will become like our wildcard item, and I'll do these ones first. And at the end of the month, I'll see where my mind's at, where the inspiration's at, and then I'll either do a dungeon of some description or carry on with the circus beetles. So circus map assets. Yeah, I like that, Chris. That's kind of the idea behind the abandoned tunnels I drew in May? Is that a May map? Man, that's forever ago now. The circus, we definitely want tents. Probably. See, the question here, I'm imagining somebody running a circus. They're definitely going to want that big central event tent. But that's like an entire battle map all by itself. Maybe this becomes just a map with like a big central tent and some tents around the edges. Hmm. Maybe what I do is I make assets, and then for the map variants, we can do that idea and sneak in like a pre-built map into the map assets. I think that's the way to go. So you want tents big and small. We want, well, we want kind of minor wagons, carts and stuff. Carts, what's the word? It's not luggage. Supplies, not supplies. Cargo. That's the one I'm looking for. Cages? Animal cages? I'm my phone just buzzed. That means it's time for us to take a very quick stretch break. I'm going to run off for a second too, so I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back. Have a good shift, Diego. Samuel, I could probably do that quite easily, but I feel like there'll be plenty of tutorials better than mine on the internet. It's a very, very normal process. Most of the time you can get away just with setting your line art, the scan, to multiply layer mode. Then if you color in underneath that, uh, it'll work the way you want it to. But maybe I'll do that if I remember to, when I scan in one of these, if I remember to, I'll just record a quick video on how I do it. What am I thinking? Thinking also like a medieval fair. So what about little skill challenge games? What are they called? Game stalls? At some point, I'm going to go on Google and like look at a bunch of circus photos and try and figure out what I'm missing. Probably like cannon. I'm imagining clowns coming out of cannons now. I'll just do a cannon. Question mark. And this could be a fun item for me to pass off to Troy. He could turn these game stalls into like skill challenges for your players to interact with. I think we just want stalls like food, games, etc. Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing, is blending circus and festival together. That's a good idea. I wonder what we'll call it, whether we'll go festival or circus. I'll probably go festival because I feel like circus isn't a very medieval word. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I like festival better. Just do festival slash. Yeah, this is a decision for much later. But you're right, both of these are going to have basically the same list of stuff, right? Just lots of color. I'm thinking banners and streamers. Banners, etc. will do. Fireworks. Fireworks? That's a question mark kind of item. Because I'm not sure. Fireworks don't really belong on the map. But I don't know, if you were to make like a Foundry VTT weather effect with fireworks, that would be cool. I have no idea how to animate them though. What are we missing though? Yeah, okay, Samuel, sorry. Scanner settings, yeah. The problem with that is that every scanner has a different little program, but definitely I can tell you some kind of rule of thumb settings. Yeah, fair, festival, circus, that's all of these are gonna blend together. Fair, festival, circus. So we just need a big list. Tell me what I'm missing, everyone. What am I missing for circus assets? And while you're all thinking about that, I'm going to quickly jot down some custom wagon asset ideas. I'm thinking we divide interiors and exteriors. And I'm imagining this kind of thing. We draw a wagon exterior and it's got the roof and it's got your luggage strapped to the top and it's got a seat and a flag and all sorts of fun stuff. 6 spoiler on it. This is for the horses. Wheels would help. And then that's the exterior. And then the interior will just be a little overlay, which when anyone goes inside, you just drag this on top, right? And then you'll have a nice little kind of modular asset. And then if we have 5 different exteriors and 5 different overlays, you've now got 25 different combinations. Bearded lady. I think we have some of those in our tokens. So that's a good one. My handwriting gets steadily worse the lower it is. So they're lower on the canvas. Maze. Yeah, maze would be a map, not an asset. That's something that needs to go over here. That's one of those things people keep asking for, and I still haven't done. Oh yeah. So let's go down in order. Exotic animals. We've definitely got plenty of those in the tokens. But maybe like a little petting zoo game stall. Dance floor, I suppose. Trying to picture what a dance floor looks like top down. Just like a platform, I guess. So general use platform. That'll be a useful one. And then, yeah, Tim, you're very right. A grand entrance. Mm, yeah. So that's I think they just call them tests of strength, right? But yeah, I'll just call it hammer. and I'll remember what that means. Dumbbells. There's a certain size of asset which just becomes too small for me to draw, or too small to have any meaningful presence on the battle map. And I think maybe dumbbells fall in that category, but maybe like a, what would I call it? Just a huge barbell? Like a performative barbell? Yeah, and then this will double as a stage. This custom wagon idea is also, in a way, a remaster because I've done something very similar. But I want to go a step further this time. Like, I think exteriors. Come on, I could do better than that. I think exteriors I'm going to divide into sections. So gosh, I wish I knew the terminology for this. Undercarriage? 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 I guess that'll do for now. And then kind of a roof section. Boof? A roof. So this will be kind of 3 levels, one of these wagons. It'll be the undercarriage. It'll be kind of the whatever wheel system, and bits and bobs are on the bottom half of the thing. Then you'll have the roof and the seating area. And then probably just accessories too. Like luggage. Maybe we'll have one with like a mounted ballista. Man, I can never get enough mounted ballistas in my game. Accessories. And then, yeah, and then you'll have your interior on top of it all. Podium. Oh, definitely, yeah, podium. Trapeze. Probably trapeze tower. Trapeze towers. I guess start with trapeze towers, and then we can do like a series of tight ropes and swings and stuff in between them. Make them kind of multi-use. Flaming hoops, definitely. Um, kind of a tough one to draw top down, but I'll give it some thought. Silk dancers, I don't think we have any of those. I think my tablet likes me writing down here. It's kind of doing some funny things. Yeah, okay, this is getting good. Save. More crabs. More crabs. Maybe we'll do, when we get to the Beatles and we're making little festival flavored accessories for the Beatles, I'll make sure they're also compatible with the crabs. Hmm. I want to get like really fantastical with these wagons too. Because we've already got a boring wagon set. I've got a whole set of everyday wagons from like medieval times through to the Wild West. So kind of covered my bases there. With these wagons, I want to get into like the medieval wagons, which were full buildings pulled by like 16 horses, that sort of thing. Or like wagons that are 5 stories high and kind of stabilized by magic. So let's just do magical. Pumpkin carriage, that might be an interesting exterior. I think that's too far down the fantasy road. These particular ones, I want them to be similar enough to each other that they're all kind of modular. You can mix and match. So we'll stay away from pumpkins for now. Big Dungeon. We're going to figure out Big Dungeon when we get there. I actually have a series of videos I want to watch first by... let me make sure I get the name right. Yeah, so there's a YouTube channel called Game Maker's Toolkit, and he has a series called Boss Keys, where he breaks down the world design of several different games, but The Legend of Zelda Dungeons are what I'm particularly interested in. I want to really take a deep dive into Zelda dungeon design and use that to inform some kind of big dungeon. Because that's kind of the flavor of puzzles and encounters that I want, traps and whatnot. Yeah, Tim, it's a great channel, great channel. I've watched all the videos once, but I want to sit down with like my notepad and do like a proper study. It's called Game Maker's Toolkit. You can also find it if you search for boss keys. I think our circus list is pretty comprehensive because I can see me making a lot of tents, and that's going to fill up kind of the floor space of my canvas very quickly. I'm going to have fun with the game stalls. We'll do some cliche kind of real world ones, darts and tests of strength, and I don't know, dunk your head in a barrel full of apples. Apples. And then maybe Troy and I will come up with some fantasy flavored ones. You know what's going to happen is I'm going to release this, and then the Wizards of the Coast book is going to come out, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff that I forgot, a bunch of stuff I didn't think of in that. Oh, I like that, Tim. I have a few prison maps that I've actually used personally for a prison break, and the prison maps just end, they terminate in a staircase. So you can link that prison map up with any one of my castle maps. You just layer them like that, and that'll be a decent match. Probably for our wagons. Look, for these we want some top-down horses and stuff. Obviously, eventually going to be pulled by our big beetles, but for now, What am I thinking of? Draft animals? Might do some goats and fantasy creatures. Goats, the most fantasy creature of all. All right, I got 10 more minutes on the clock for brainstorming. So, yeah, I should let me give a proper shout out to Game Maker's Toolkit. Game Maker's Toolkit, highly recommend. It's a video game Maker's Toolkit, level design, etc. But obviously, all that transfers over to fantasy battle maps quite well. So, big fan. Game Maker's Toolkit. Boss, not Ross, boss. Boss keys. Yeah, the bigger RAMs, the better. I should think in advance how big our beetles are going to be. Probably the size of a wagon. And you know what's cool? If we do have the undercarriage and kind of the main section separate, then we can create a little harness for the beetles and we can stick the wagon body on the back of the beetles and just make them into the wagons. What would I call that? The room, I guess. Oh yeah, Chris, I know something like what you mean. I don't know what to call that. Yeah. Do uh, side. I don't remember what this means. Accessories. So inside, we're just gonna need furniture enough for like bedrooms and stalls, I guess. I'm imagining some wagons, or we're gonna have wagons with several floors to them, some of them. So yeah, basically for furniture, we want bedrooms and kind of lightweight market stalls. Let's call it stalls. And those will be our interior. Yeah, let me know if I'm forgetting anything in any of these categories. I got 6 minutes. I think I'm just gonna think about beetles maybe. Yeah, Tom, that's a good idea. So I'll have to have an undercarriage, which isn't so much a wagon as it is a train. That's a great idea. So train. So you can have an undercarriage which will just link together like a long train. Ah, welcome back, Diego. Yeah, well, I think I will just figure out the wagons independent of the beetles, and then when it comes time to draw beetles, I'll just make them big enough to theoretically pull a wagon train. We'll probably do a bunch of different sizes too. So all sorts of beetles of all different sizes. So I'm probably just going to ask our token artists to make a bunch of circus stuff based on their own imagination. But if there's anything in particular, any tokens, like characters, that's another thing we can brainstorm in advance. That's too bad. Yeah, Chris, I'm imagining one beetle about the size of this wagon, pulling 3 to 5 of them, like a little road train. I mean, this wagon kind of looks like a rhino beetle, doesn't it? Give it some legs. Yeah, okay. I think we'll get all the cliches. Um, I think we can come up with all the cliches. So, like, speaking of in the D&D universe, what would be an interesting circus character? These are all kind of real world characters, right? But in D&D, we can have all sorts of magic and whatnot. Fire. I should go back and watch the circus arc of Critical Role. See what the great Matt Mercer came up with. Yeah, I'm going to Alt Tab and just look at circus stuff. See what comes up. See if there's anything I'm missing. There's something that I deliberately don't do, and that is looking at other battle maps and other asset packs. Try and avoid that as much as possible, because I want, inevitably there's going to be overlap. Like everyone who makes a circus pack is going to have a circus tent. But I want to avoid drawing a circus tent that looks exactly like someone else's. And for me, the best way to do that is just to not look at anyone else's work and just to figure it out myself. And then it's just bad luck if they look too similar, or like we're using the same reference image. But I think I want to go kind of high fantasy with this circus. So in my mind, that means like structures and architecture that's magical. Like it wouldn't exist. It's kind of like the Harry Potter Hogwarts. It's got all this funky architecture inside it that can't exist in the real world. So in the context of a circus, that might mean like a really big tent or like a multi-layered tent with different levels to it or something. Um, Magical. Yes, please. Chris, that's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't know why a fantasy circus would bother with all the cages and stuff unless they were kind of low fantasy. Mm-hmm. Yep, yep. That's a good point, though. Um, Diego, is we also want kind of the packed up versions, right? We don't just want the tents, we want packed up stuff. This makes me wonder if I should do the wagons first, so that when I get to the circus stuff, we can make packed up stuff which specifically fits the wagons. I'll give that some thought. I'm looking at aerial views of a circus. Mostly it's just a bunch of tents and a bunch of vehicles. And a little pen. We'll have a pen for the petting zoo. And maybe I should look up like a Renaissance fair, see what comes up there. Don't want to look at the people, I want to look at the scenery. Yeah, now that you mention that, Chris, I just remembered. Oh, I'm thinking of the Quidditch. Yeah, in like book 4 or something in Harry Potter. There's tents like that. Yeah, it's very packed together. Maybe we could sneak like a joust in, a jousting field. If we're going to do festival assets, we kind of have to do a joust. Huh. That's an interesting idea, Diego. Yeah. Although I would like the tents to be more generic so that people can use them for mundane and magical purposes. So the runes, they could always use the runes from my magic packs. Whack-a-boggle. Yeah, we'll put those in the game stalls. Dunk tanks. That's what I meant by apples. I couldn't think of the I couldn't think of the word when I wrote that down. Purple wedding. I can't scroll. Yeah, I would like to look at some references. So let me make a note. Okay. I think that's all we have time for today, but these are some this is some solid brainstorming we got done. Feeling pretty confident about starting one of these projects first. I'm not sure yet which one we'll do first. Yeah, and then I'll send these ideas to the token artists too. These I'll put back in my big list for the future. This one we're gonna worry about the big dungeon later on. But yeah, I'm just gonna get my head in a circus kind of mood. A Renaissance fair kind of medieval festival kind of mood. It was a nice warm up we did with the town square map the other month. Now we just got to turn it up to 11. I hope you're getting paid by the hour, Diego. But thanks everyone who stopped by These are some good ideas. I'm going to condense them down, probably add to them overnight as different ideas come to me. And next time, which will be tomorrow, we'll jump back on and start drawing something. Okie dokie. Have a good one and see you tomorrow.